Hollie Emery, what is your favorite game?
My favorite game is Fable. Well, I first started playing games when I was very, very young. All of my brothers and sisters, they were a lot older than me, like between like 9 and 14 years. So I had a lot of hand-me-down Spectrums, Commodores, that I basically played with them. Half the time, I had no idea what I was doing. I was like 4 years old. I was pressing keys. I was playing Chucky Egg. I remember Master System, Desert Strike. I loved playing that game, but heck, I had no idea how to play it. um, but yeah, that's where I started playing video games. Very retro era cassette gaming, um, which it wasn't the era that was around when I was born, but when I grew up, but I kind of adopted the era that my siblings had. So I kind of got into the older generation of gaming when I was young. Like I, as I was going through all of the different consoles and stuff, I had a fair number of hand-me-down consoles, like Master Systems and stuff that I'd play and I'd pick up games at car boots. I remember going through car boots trying to find all of the classics on retro video game consoles. But my first console that I got for myself was my original Xbox.
Mhm. That's
Yes.
interesting. We'll get to that in a second. But like you mentioned how you were sort of interested in sort of acquiring games at car boot sales. Like what were your sort of interests, specific games that you were after at that time?
Uh, well, I I loved all kinds of different platformers. So one of my favorite games growing up was a game called Alex Kidd, Miracle World. Absolute classic. I was so scared of the octopus and like it was just literally the second level as you like fall down into the watery area. I just those octopuses, they mess me up. They mess me up proper.
Oh dear.
uh,
Oh
yeah.
dear. That does not sound well. That doesn't sound too dissimilar to what I went through with Metal Gear Solid 2 at such a relatively young age.
Oh no. To be fair, being scared by Metal Gear Solid seems more legitimate than being scared by a pixelated octopus. So, um,
That's true.
yeah.
That's true.
It was a fish in a hat and a bow tie that that messed me up. Still scarred to this day about that.
Oh,
No, actually,
me and you both like in terms of different friends, but we're still like I just turned 30. Holly knows this because she was at my birthday thing, full disclosure, but also I'm 30 and I'm still fucking scarred from that fucking kernel in MGS2, as I've mentioned so many times on this show. Games can scar you for life. It's fun.
Oh my goodness. Like games that have scarred me. I'm trying to think of like I I tend to typically avoid scary games whenever I'm playing. Like I say Outlast. I remember playing the Outlast 2 demo when that came out on PS4, and I wasn't even me that was playing it. It was my housemate at the time, and I was hid behind a pillow the entire time. I love scary movies, don't get me wrong, but as soon as you put me in possession of a life that could be scared, I feel like I'm caring for this person. I'm in control of them. I'm just looking out for them. They're an extension of me. Oh, yeah.
So
Scary.
I'm guessing you definitely stayed the ever living fuck away from PG.
Oh, yes, I did. I did. I watched videos of it though. I watched some videos of it and nope. Hard nope. No, thank you.
Same,
Absolutely no.
same. It's the only Kojima game I've not played on a console, on a HD console anyway. Chances are I probably would have bought Silent Hills, but I definitely wouldn't have played it. So, anyway, your first proper console, like you said, the Xbox. Talk about that a little bit. What was your memories of the Xbox?
My memories of that original Xbox were firmly rooted in Tony Hawk's games. Tony Hawk's Underground, that soundtrack, it was beautiful. Everything about the Tony Hawk's games in that era were fantastic. Tony Hawk's Underground 1 and 2, beautiful.
Fog 2
I
and Pro Skater 3. Beautiful.
Oh yes. There was Mercenaries, there was Burnout Revenge.
Burnout 3!
Is that Burnout 3 Takedown?
Yeah.
I don't actually know if I. What is
Have
that?
you?
Burnout Revenge?
No,
I
no,
don't know if I played
no. You.
Takedown.
Burnout 3 Takedown is the best. I actually love that so much compared to Revenge. Revenge, I did not like as much.
Oh no, Revenge was. Oh, that was so good. That's one of my all-time favorite racing games. Apart from the old Need for Speed Most Wanted,
Oh, that's
also a
the
classic.
was that the 2005 one?
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good one.
That
That's
was
a really good
that
one.
was it was
I think
good.
I honestly prefer that over the Criterion version.
Oh, that's the modern one that came out a few years back, isn't
Mm-hmm.
it?
That came out 9 years ago now. Oh my god, it came out 9 years ago now.
9 years.
9 years, Holly. 9 years. It came out 9 years ago. And God, I feel already old as it is just having to buy the remaster of Hot Pursuit.
Oh, oh,
Time.
that's time.
Time gets us
Feel
all.
old.
I'm very old.
Oof, I feel old.
But what other memories do you have before I digress even more?
What else was there on the original Xbox? I had a good old time with Morrowind. That was a classic. I spent so many hours getting lost, literally lost in that game. Um, I can't actually remember completing it. I'm sure that I went through the main storyline, but I probably spent days in that game just running around the various cities trying to find skooma wherever I could. Gosh, I sound like a gamer addict. Wow. Um, yeah, Morrowind. I I was a big fan, okay, of the pauldrons that you could get in that game. I was so sad with I think it's Skyrim when they took them out because you had separate shoulder pads that you could change up with your armor, and it's just really nice. That's customization is one of my big things in like RPGs and stuff. But I was just
Does the sense of getting lost as well sort of help in terms of discovering these worlds? Because like you say, you got lost in Morrowind, but was that more of an intentional thing or was that just accidental?
it was a combination of the two things. So the like I literally got lost because I don't think there was any fast travel in Morrowind, but the environments as well. going through like the Dwemer ruins, and looking at all of the different like dungeons that you could find in the world. Also, there was just so many unusual creatures that you could find in the world that just weren't aggressive as well. Like, um, I think there was like maybe a balloon system, that was just like these little, well, I say little, these huge floating things with like legs that you could use to travel to a city, but you couldn't like actually open up a map and be like, okay, I want to travel to this place. You had like set locations where you could do like a mini travel.
Hmm.
You had to pay loads of coins, and I never had coins because I wasn't very good at the game. But yeah.
And then what about after the Xbox, like in terms of Xbox 360, PS3 and whatnot, or reading?
Yeah, so I went to Xbox 360, and Xbox One. I had some like other games on the Xbox 360 that I really enjoyed playing. Again, they're more like RPGs and first person shooters. So like I loved The Witcher 2, the original Prey as well. I
Hmm.
think that was underrated. I feel that was a classic. Some of the mechanics in that game as well, and just the storyline um, around the invasion of the planet was, they were just spot on. And also of the Metro video games as well. Metro 2033, just some the ammunition mechanic in that, and the fact that your premium ammunition was also like a really valuable currency in the game. It just really made you think really strategically about how you played the game as well. And I just love that about that game too.
Hmm. Fair enough. I figured because you like 'cause the Metro games are very hard driven as well, but they're also very systemic as well, like very immersive systemic as well.
But yeah, for a game that's so like, it almost feels isolated when you're playing it as well. Like
Hmm.
you're in the metro system. Sometimes you'll go out into the world. Like the environments that like I always found them really exciting, even though I thought I almost felt like I shouldn't in a way because of the fact that it's always in the same like metro location.
Hmm.
But I was always looking in every nook and cranny for that ammunition. So I always felt like I was always excited for the next place that I explored because I was more focused on this idea that I had to like scavenge. So um I was basically working at McDonald's at the time, when I was 18 years of age, and
Serving Big Macs and chicken nuggies,
oh,
chicken McNuggies.
indeed I was. And I love video games. I love playing video games. I lived and breathed them. All of my spare income would go on video games. But there was a game station that I used to go visit to purchase some video games. I'd pop in there most days. I also used to serve the manager at McDonald's. So eventually, I guess I must have like annoyed the people enough there that they actually did enjoy my company, and I guess I was enthusiastic enough that when I applied, they were like, "Oh yeah, come on board." So I ended up working in video game retail from I think 2010 until 2012. And while I was there, I did a little wee bit of journalism as well. So reviews and little bits and pieces. Um, but that was kind of that was just dipping my toes in. That was pre-development. That was getting me ready for where I was going next, basically. So someone that I worked with, a couple of people that I worked with actually, had recently found work at Team 17 in the QA department, testing video games. So Worms. back then. There was lots and lots of Worms games, and a little bit of Alien Breed as well. I ended up applying, and yeah, in 2012 I started QA testing on Worms. My first like development role. So from there, I play tested lots of games for a few years, and in maybe 2014 or 15, after repeatedly, excitedly applying for production positions internally at Team 17, I got a role as a production assistant, working on Sheltered, The Escapists, Worms to Armageddon on iOS and Android, and there was a couple of other like publisher titles that I was doing some support work with as well. So I think like age rating documentation and stuff. I think Ollie 2 on Xbox and Not a Hero as well. Yeah. From there, I was doing various different production bits and pieces, and I kind of like worked my way up into taking on full productions and supporting developers in the publishing department to release. Working with developers like Ghost Town Games with Overcooked and Villa Gorilla with Yoku's Island Express, and also some of the internal productions at Team 17 as well. So like supporting the launch of, well, basically from the start to near the end of Escapist 2 and other productions too. 2018, I then left to go freelance. It's kind of been from there where I like started my own studios and stuff. So that's kind of where I am now.
So let's talk of your favorite game, Fable. Now,
Yeah.
we've ascertained that you have a deep love of RPGs. That much is very clear. But what got you first into Fable anyway? What attracted you towards Fable?
Oh, for me, it was a combination of like the character aesthetic. I absolutely loved the character design, like the big chunky belt buckles and like massive gloves and stuff. I know that sounds a bit strange, but I just absolutely love the character design from the concept artwork to the like 3D models in the game, and also the soundtrack. Danny Elfman and Russell Shaw composition. It was beautiful. It's still one of my favorite soundtracks in any game to this day.
Interesting. Like go into a bit more detail about that soundtrack. What is it about that soundtrack that makes it one of your favorites?
So I think it's just how magical it sounds. So it's got a lot of like deep like stringed instruments that kind of echo into like big old crescendos. It's really grandiose as well. Like the intro theme is something that just stuck in my mind basically to this day since I played it. And it and just even through all that, there's always like a little, I don't know, a little piano or a little fiddle that's going doodle 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 really quietly in the background. It's like a little chiming away, and it always makes it feel like there's a little bit of humor, a little bit of cheekiness going on in the background.
Mischievous behavior there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was just magical for me.
Mm.
Absolutely magical.
It very much had those, like it pretty much nailed down the vibe of what the sort of typical tropey fantasy RPG should sound like in terms of music anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. It when I listened to it, I felt transported into a different world. I didn't even need to see the game.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. Um, so obviously the one of the big aspects about Fable as a series, not just necessarily that one game, but as an entire series, is its humor, its style of humor. It's very, very specific because it feels very British in a way. Very, very British humor in a way.
For sure. It I think it especially channeled with the like mostly British voice acting as well. And it that just really like you get the vibe the entire way through the game. So even from the main characters to when you're walking through, say, like Oakvale or something like that. If you haven't changed your name, you'll hear the echoing sounds of chicken chaser. Look at all the chickens run, and like little VA sound clips like that. That yeah, takes me back.
And it's funny you mentioned the sort of voice acting as well, because like you have Zoe Wanamaker as well as that sort of ominous narrator throughout the entire, at least I can't speak of Fable the Journey, but like throughout the entire series, anyway, she's there as that omniscient presence as the narrator.
Yeah. Also, like the presence of the guild master as well. Um, it felt like almost like a father figure for the first like well for a good portion of the game as well. But yeah, oh, this is that without going too spoilery. Is that
You can go. You
Therese?
can be as spoiler as you want. Go for it.
Spoilery. Is that Teresa?
Yeah, no, like I think that's Teresa. Yeah, well, I'm not too sure because all I've played is Fable Two, but then Fable Two is the best one. But I digress. I
Whoa,
digress. We'll touch
whoa, that's
we'll,
fighting
we'll
talk,
touch
Johnny.
we'll touch upon that later on. For now, are
In a fist fight, what? No, I'm joking.
you actually challenging me to a fight? Because I will actually. No, I won't. No, I can't. But
Although there are dogs in Fable too, so I can
mm,
understand that. There are good valid points for your argument. I might end up fighting myself into Fable 2 at this rate, the way that I'm going. Anyway, sorry, Jenny.
one of the things you mentioned to me before we started recording was something
Mm,
that really excited you because you did a lot of sort of extensive background research on this and sort of revisiting your own memories on it. The
mhm.
frying pan, for whatever reason.
Oh, yes. So the frying pan is basically it's a weapon that you can get in Fable where you have to I believe you have to find lots of different map pieces throughout the game world, and it's basically a frying pan as a weapon, and it looks very, doesn't really do that much. Um, but when you use it, it's one of the most powerful weapons in the game. When you find the special frying pan, it's very powerful. It's very potent. That humor is classic Lionhead humor right there. It's just the tongue-in-cheek nature of it. Like imagine going through the game, like brandishing a frying pan and having the serious narration of like you need to conquer the evil in this universe. Jack of Blades, he's he's terrorizing shit. You know, you need to KO dude, you're going, you're
You
fine,
can
Canon.
swear for what it's worth.
Okay. I don't know. I'm just very modern.
You can swear.
Blimey. I feel like, sometimes I'm in the good place in real life. Add into my evil points. I'm joking. Fuck.
Let it be known, PUBG was not the first game to really significantly use a frying pan as a weapon. Fable was. So, Brendan Green, player unknown, you've been had by Peter Molyneux.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Speaking of Peter Molyneux, Molyneux is basically a legend in the British games industry. Like, there is no one like him at all. But he does have a tendency to overpromise a lot, or he did have a tendency to overpromise a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And that was sort of what endeared him to an extent, because at least he's shooting for the stars, or shooting for the moon, because at least then, if you miss the moon, you're at least among the stars. But sometimes he can probably shoot himself into the sun as well, considering the amount of promises that he makes, or has made, and doesn't deliver on.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that in mind, how much do you think sort of Molyneux sort of making those sorts of promises affects the development of games like Fable? Because, like, I'm just reading up here, like, some of the stuff that he was very aggressive promoting it, 'cause, like, he said it was going to be the best game ever. Like, yeah.
I'm always like, whenever I hear like a Peter Molyneux story, I always get a little bit of excitement about what is going to be promised, because heck, he can sell well, even if it's not something that is eventually going to happen. He can sell the socks off of it.
Yes.
His pitch game is on point. You can't deny it. You cannot deny it at
No, you
all.
cannot. Like, he knows how to sell a game. He really knows how to sell. Like, I remember him like showing off Fable, I think, at GDC the year Fable 2 came out. And I remember thinking, I want this game, because, like, I remember him just showing off even just the co-op of the game. I'm like, I need this game. I need this game. And he can sell. No, I say Fable 2, and it was a really good selling point, but you know what he can't, the one game he can sell really, really well, and it's a game that never came out. Milo.
Milo, yes. Was that the Connect game?
It was.
And I'm sure there was like tech demos of the face tracking and like just the tracking in general with the Connect camera. Um, I'm not sure exactly how it was going to integrate into the Fable. Was it going to integrate into the Fable universe at all?
I think they used tech within Milo to integrate into Fable the Journey, but like Milo and Kate was meant to be its own game, like completely standalone from Fable. And I remember watching that E3 thing thinking, okay, the footage is somewhat hokey, a little hokey, but the concept, the promise of what it could be was more than enough to sell me on it. More than enough. And I just thought at that point, give me it now, because that was the one reason why I wanted to connect.
Yeah, like to be fair, I think for a lot of people that demo and that sold the Connect to people as well. I might have been working in retail at the time when that all happened, and I'm sure we used that as like a pre-order tactic for the Connect as well. like to encourage people to like be like, this is the Kinect, this is what it can do. People were really like dubious of the Kinect when it came out, like initially as a concept. Because I remember they, at least from the perspective of like retail, working on the shop floor and stuff, people were like, "Oh, I've got a Wii," um, like, and they were happy with that, the motion control for that. But I still remember like when the Kinect came out. I think for a while they might not have been in stock. I think they sold out for a while.
They did, yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah. It was popular. I remember Fighters Uncaged as well, being like, oh, I want to learn how to do UFC and stuff.
Dance Central, for various reasons, from my VG 24/7 days, will haunt me to my grave.
What? Why
It
will
will.
it haunt you? Did you play lots of Dance Central?
I played lots of Dance Central, and there's at least 2 videos of it on record of me playing it.
Oh, that's hilarious. I love
So
Dance Central. I love Just Dance. I love DDR. Any dancing game, I'm sold with it. So when I eventually got Connect, I was all over Dance Central and Dance Central 2. I played a lot of it. Yeah, I love that shit.
I think the first one might be gone from existence at this point, thank fuck. But the second one is still, I think, lurking about on the internet somewhere. Me and John Drake, formerly of Harmonix, now of Disney, somewhere on the
Oh,
internet. So
did you have like a dance battle with somebody?
no,
Was
I
it a
had about.
competitive one or was it a co-op
I
victory?
think me and John were doing a sort of co-op dance battle, and then I think it was so. I think if I remember correctly, it was me, John Drake, and the 2 Microsoft PR reps from the UK in the room, and that was it. And that was after an interview as well, and it was filmed on the internet, filmed and put on the internet for VG 24/7.
Mm.
So you know what? I can't put it in this episode because all you're just going to hear is just me and John just sort of yammering to each other. But like, I'll send you the video. Maybe at one point we'll get John Drake on my favorite game and we'll talk about it. um,
I,
but
I love a good dance.
but again, like they sort of bring it back round again. This sort of Molyneux and how he can promise stuff. Like he did tend to promise a lot, but that was also sort of the detriment to Fable because like there was a lot of cut stuff on it in that game. Like there was a lot of story stuff story stuff cut from the game, which sort of didn't please everyone who played the game. So thus we had the lost chapters.
Mm. I guess that's the same for any video game though, that has had that kind of press. I remember like No Man's Sky as well.
Mm.
Like a similar thing happened there where a very excited creative director talks about their vision for a game and um maybe they don't have full visibility on whether it is achievable within the development cycle, or something happens during the development cycle that means it's no longer feasible. Maybe a cut of funding, maybe a development ship date or something like that. But I always find it fascinating to hear these these developers because they're visionaries and they're the kind of people that are trying to strive to make the games the best that they possibly can be, but like from a this is a product that you're going to buy perspective, and you're expecting those kind of things to be within the product that you've been sold. I can understand why people got a little bit annoyed when the game came out.
So on Lost Chapters itself, then, like you went through that, didn't you? I think you told me you played that. Like, what was the sort of how much that sort of augment your experience playing Fable?
So the Lost Chapters. I'm having to like recall a bit here, but it was basically at the end of the game. You find out that Jack Blades isn't dead, and they've been turned into a dragon that you end up fighting in Snowspire. I can't remember the full story that gets you to that place. But like it was a nice addition to the end of the game. It was a nice bit of filler content that I thought, I really enjoyed playing these additional areas as well. It was like a hearty little DLC pack at the end of the game. That just extended the gameplay experience and added a fair number of like different weapons and outfits and stuff as well.
Hmm.
A fair few other quests as well. But, oh yeah, I'm trying to remember if that actually if at the end of that it meant that you were able to wear the Jack of Blades mask. That was cool. Being able to wear Jack of Blades mask. And being like, I'm an angry person. I'm an angry antagonist. Fear me, people. I'm no chicken chaser.
Fable is also very much a game in where it is very much a good and evil sort of type thing. You can play it good, you can play it bad, you can be a good guy, you can be a bad guy. Basically, your choices sort of define obviously how you go through the game, but it also sort of defines how you'd look in the game. Like, what way did you decide to play Fable?
Ooh, well, it depends on the playthrough, really. Some playthroughs I was a tofu eater, and sometimes I was eating all the crunchy chicks. One of the things that I loved when I was playing through Fable is the way that your decision making in the game affected your aesthetic. So if you made decisions that basically were evil, you say you killed villagers, or you made decisions that negatively impacted people, like not saving certain people in a certain quest or something, or like I don't know, killing Whisper in the arena rather than like letting her go and letting her survive. You grow horns on your head, and you get like these fly. If you get really evil, there's flies that swarm around you as well, and I'm sure you get like red eyes and like these black marks around your eyes as well, and like all of the armor like types within the game, there was always an evil set as well as like a good set as well. So you had your evil, your standard, and your good set as well. So like I really like that about Fable, because like even though there was some linearity in the path that you like eventually went on to the end of the game, there was a lot of different options that meant that you could really customize your experience in the game world and really call it your own as well. But yeah, I was both. Sometimes I went from good to evil. I'm sure as well that when I was like I might have been really good, and then I tried to be really bad really quickly. I'd eat loads of crunchy chicks, and then I'd get fat as well. Because I'd just eaten loads of food as well. So I was just evil, and I'd like gained loads of weight. Oh no. You had to like exercise off your crunchy chicks that you'd eaten in order to get evil.
So the $1 million question: did you punt any chickens?
Did I punt any chickens?
Punt any chickens? Like kick chickens?
Of course. Like, I think it was Bowstone. Like, that was the place to kick chickens. I mean, I think there are a few chickens in Oakvale as well, but Bowerstone, you were trying to kick the chickens in all of the strangest of places, and trying to kick them as far as you could as well.
Kick the chicken.
Hmm.
Kick the chicken. I say that
Sure.
as if I'm saying kick the baby, like in South Park. Kick the baby. Don't kick the baby. Kick the baby.
uh, uh,
um,
I am a chicken kicker.
Hollie Emery is a chicken kicker. You heard it here first tonight on My Favorite Game. That's going to be a news story in the morning. No,
No,
that's not.
no.
So Fable 2 and 3. I've obviously made on record my love very clear for Fable 2. I love Fable 2. It's one of my favorite RPGs, probably top 5 at least. Oh, well, top 10 at least, definitely top 10. Maybe top 5, but definitely top 10. Molyneux sold me the fuck out of that game. And I think Fable 2 is the one game where everything he sold, he tried to sell everyone in the game on bullet point and bullet point. I think that was the one game that he's made that he sold to a T perfectly. And I think Fable 2 is very much the game that just it feels like from like it's admittedly been a good few years since I played Fable 2. Actually, has it been? I think I played it a little bit last year, going back to I think the start of the game. And the combat system, I think it's slightly dated now, but like otherwise, it was a very, very good game, Fable 2. I really loved Fable 2. Such a good game. Could not say the same thing about Fable 3 though. Could not. Like I think I played about 10 minutes of that. I was like, yeah, I do not feel massively vested interest in this compared to Fable 2, whereas I felt like I was already immediately hooked in for what was going to happen. Didn't quite feel it as much with Fable 3. Like, what were your thoughts on those games?
So I played Fable 2 and Fable 3 a lot less than the first Fable. I still really enjoyed them. Like the scores as well, musical composition, the gameplay too. Like absolutely love them. But my heart was always in the original Fable. It just has a special place in my heart just because I'd never played another game like it. When I played it, it had such a heavy impact. Well, just on me when I played it. But like with Fable, the introduction of the dog, I'm sure that there was a breadcrumb trail as well that was introduced in Fable 2 as well that
Yeah,
made questing a lot easier.
yeah, I remember that.
And like I like back when I was playing games back then, like I wouldn't do things like disable features like that, even though I knew that it was an option that you could. So like I always just tended to play the game in the way that it was intended without changing any of the settings. So I was always like, like I liked the mystery. I liked the fact that there wasn't an option for that you had to go out there yourself. In the original Fable. Whereas with Fable 2, because the option was there, I was like, yeah, go on. Follow the breadcrumbs.
It goes
Follow the
back to that
breadcrumb trail.
aspect of being lost in RPGs again.
Yeah, I just like getting lost, basically. I love it. Like in real life as well. Like
Oh
I
my
love going on a
god.
hike. I love getting lost on a hike. Yeah, like I don't know. I think it's the immersion for me.
Hmm.
the the immersion of getting lost in that world and having that breadcrumb trail. You know, I know I could turn it off. Just being there, I was just a bit like, it's taking a little bit of the edge off. With Fable 3, again, the, I think with both games, the introduction of guns as well, and that it was a step more towards like industrial era like British-ish society rather than like a more medievally kind of countryside kind of less would you say advanced? I'm not sure. It was the progression over time as well took I think a little bit of that magic away in comparison to the first game as well. So yeah, guns. And in Fable 3 as well, they brought in all the systems around like running, basically being a ruler over a kingdom almost, and like being able to transform cities by I think in your menu system. I think it was a menu system. You had like all of your. It was a very elaborate menu system actually. You had uh, like like rooms and stuff, and you could like change your outfits and change like the color of your outfits using dyes and stuff, and then you could manage like your financials from there as well.
Hmm.
I remember you could have rises and fall, like the rise and fall of like certain towns and cities in Fable 3, depending on your actions as well, which again was amazing. But I guess yeah, the original Fable experience for me is just my favorite. It's awesome.
So on that aspect, then, like, let's say at this point, so it's 2016. Molyneux's long left. He's gone off. They found 22 cans and do Curiosity, the big green cube. God, that feels like such a lifetime ago now at this point. Curiosity. As well as that, at this point, Lionhead is making an asymmetrical Fable multiplayer game, Fable Legends. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, and this is a thing that actually happened, and I'll put this in for those listening. While I was recording a season 4 of an episode of My Favorite Game, this was with Dan Pinchbeck of the Chinese Room. Literally, the news broke that Lionhead was closing.
Oh, fuck. Have you just seen Twitter? Lionhead's closing.
Oh my god.
Just said Lionhead's closing.
Jess just texted me. My phone's just gone, and it's Jess going, Lionhead's closing, Lionhead's closing. Oh my god.
Oh my god, I can't believe this. It says, after much consideration, we have decided to cease development on Fable Legends and are in discussions with employees about the proposed closure of Lionhead Studios in the UK. Holy fuck.
That's just huge. Oh my god.
Oh fuck.
Oh, that's loads of people. That's really shitty.
Oh my god. That's... Oh fuck.
That's near, isn't it?
Bloody hell, it is. Fable 2, man. Fable 2. I love that game. Fuck.
That's a lot of people's jobs. That's really grim. I mean, that's what you want, is that there's so many good developers at Lion. I just hope they fall on their feet and not all just hung out to dry, because they deserve to be working in this industry. They're good people.
Like, there was no Fable Legends. Fable Legends was canned, and Lionhead was closing after years of development on Fable Legends, and after the release of Fable The Journey for Kinect. But all the same, Lionhead's closure was a heavy, heavy loss. Not just because of the fact it gave us the Fable franchise and, you know, the likes of Black and White, the movies, etc. But just in general, it just felt like a huge part of the heart of the UK games industry was sort of ripped out the day that closure was announced. Like, well, can you remember what your sort of what your reaction was that day? Can you remember back that day to when that news was announced?
I remember it very well because I cried. I cried at it. Lionhead was one of the reasons that I joined the games industry in the first place. I had aspirations one day of joining that studio and working on a Fable game. I think it was maybe more the studio as well rather than the franchise, just because of the other games that had kind of been born out of that studio, and also just Peter Molyneux's legacy that it built up. So like I love the Populous games growing up. Theme Hospital as well. Bullfrog was they were like fundamental building blocks for my passion within the games industry, and the idea that like some of the people from that studio had like helped with forming Lionhead and were building games like Black and White and Fable, and that studio and that legacy just shutting down. Yeah, that was painful. It was a painful day. I remember I was working at Team 17 at the time. I remember being shocked, very shocked.
And very heartbroken as well.
Yeah, yeah.
I know the feeling. Rest in peace, Studio Liverpool and Evolution Studios. That broke my heart immensely. Those broke my heart immensely. But
yeah.
On the flip side of that, Fable is coming back. Fable is coming back, and it's coming back onto Playground Games, the incredibly talented studio behind Forza Horizon. And I will not say a bad word about Playground because, oh my fucking god, the Forza Horizon games are stupendously brilliant games. Like, if for whatever reason you have not played a Forza Horizon game over the course of the past 9 years, please, I encourage you, whether it's Forza Horizon 1 on the Xbox 360, the Forza Horizon 4, please play these games. They're so good, and they stand alone easily to the point where if you just choose one of them and just one of them, you will have a brilliant time regardless. But yeah, like Fable's coming back on the Playground, and they'll use that open world expertise that they've used with Forza Horizon. I'm very excited to see what Playground brings to the table anyway with Fable. Like, what were your immediate thoughts?
Oh, I was so torn. There was a part of me that wanted, like when I left Team 17, that wanted to see if whatever that rumor was actually true and join Playground Games and work on Fable. Because, well, back then it was only a rumor. I think it was a picture shared on Twitter that when I heard it, I was like, is this actually happening?
Well, I mean, it was basically an open secret from the industry at this point.
Yeah, but like I didn't know anyone from Playground Games to like actually fully confirm it, and I don't know. There was a part of me that was cynical, that was like, is it really happening? I don't know. Like, is it really? Is it really? Like, there was a part of me that kind of was like, no, it can't be happening. It's too good to be true, kind of thing. And like, there's a large part of me that would want to work on a Fable game at some point in the future, but there's also an even larger part of me that wants to play that game on launch day and enjoy it for all of its pure beauty. Yeah, I just want to be able to play it on launch day and just just that feeling. Yeah, I want to relive what I lived when I first played Fable.
Did you get one of the Xbox yet? One of the new Xboxes yet?
One of the new ones?
Yeah.
No, not yet.
Well,
I haven't been able to get.
There you go. There you go. There's your mission now over the next year or so. Guess Xbox Series S or Xbox Series X. Sort yourself out for Fable.
Yeah, for sure. I'm super excited though. There was an announcement last year. I think in the build up to the consoles launching, when the different platform holders were doing their spiels and doing reveals for their games. I can't remember if it was E3 or something. And right at the end, there was just that very short video of Fable, and like it was like I'd been waiting for all of the shows for the last like few years, just like is this where they're going to announce Fable? Are they going to show something? I've been holding out for it. And they showed a bit, and it was just so small. And I was like, no, you can't show just that. Please, give me more. Yeah, I was still very excited that it made it official. Made it official.
Official. That's probably the best way to describe it. I'm excited to really see what Playground can do with it. I think they'll kick ass with it. I really do.
I'm really excited to see what they do in terms of like the environment design, because some of the stuff that they do with like the Forza Horizon series with the weather system it's groundbreaking tech. Like it's absolutely phenomenal what they can do. And if that kind of stuff is incorporated into Fable, then I've got really high hopes, basically. I'm super excited. Like the idea of just running through this world and suddenly it goes from sunshine into this like absolute torrential downpour. I don't know, that could be really atmospheric.
So, what else do you like about Fable that we've not talked about?
Ooh, what else do I like about Fable? I really liked in Fable just the simplicity of the armor system. Like in terms of like all of the different armor sets and like aesthetics that you could get from the game, it actually had a really simple progression system of I think it was like you could get like really basic like leather armor, and then it went to like chainmail and then like plate as well. And I think in a lot of RPGs, your progression to protect your character can get really complicated really quickly. But with the Fable system, like with the way that Fable designed their armor system, I found it really easier to get on board with. Like I don't know, I just really appreciated the simplicity because it meant that I spent a lot less time in menus and more time like exploring the world and playing the game. And like because you knew that a lot of their armor was in sets, it also gave you a mission to find the other parts of the armor in the world as well. So I just really appreciated that design basically.
What didn't you like about Fable?
Oh, I really wanted to jump. I think you could only roll, but I wanted to jump. that was basically it. I wanted to be able to jump around. It was because I'd been playing Morrowind, and there was the acrobat skill that they removed in subsequent like Elder Scrolls games. That you couldn't level up from jumping around everywhere. So I went from Morrowind to Fable, and then it was like, I can't jump around. This is just natural to me now. I just want to jump. But yeah. Not for any particular reason. I just really wanted to be able to jump places.
So, with that in mind, top 3 Fable games. How would you rank them? Obviously, Fable 1 at the top. But how would you rank the rest of the series?
Oh, that is tough. I'd probably say in order, like so Fable 1, Fable 2, and then Fable 3.
Okay. Nice and simple and clean. Sequential order.
Yeah, sequential order. I don't know. Maybe it was just as time went on, I got more set in my ways towards my feelings towards the original Fable. So when Fable 3 started to change things more, I was like, what about my precious Fable? And yeah, I think that's probably why I appreciate Fable 1 the most, and then Fable 2, and then Fable 3.
Honorable mentions. Go for it.
Oh, so Morrowind. Gotta love a bit of Morrowind.
Match.
That heck yeah. It was one of the first big RPGs that I played. Got lost in that world, same as I did Fable. Love it. Also, the Halo franchise as well. Playing through those games on, I don't know, maybe I was just a sadist, but I like to play through Halo games on Legendary.
You masochist. You
I know,
masochist.
I know. And the game that gets a shout out from me is specifically Halo 2, because it was one of the only games that if you're playing it cooperative and you died, you both respawned, even if one of you died. Whereas all the other Halos, I don't think that happened.
Oh.
So it was extra hard mode. extra hard mode. So when I completed that game in co-op Legendary, it was like I'd unlocked an additional achievement.
Wait. I'm trying to think. Did the original Xbox have achievements? I don't think it did. Did it? Or was this in-game?
This is my own personal achievement. It was an accolade for me. But
okay.
Games Windows Live, it had achievements on that. And yes,
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember now.
I did buy it on PC so that I could play it online for longer after they closed the Xbox servers down.
No, it makes sense to me. No, it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's fair. What? Anytime someone mentions Halo, there's always this temptation of asking them about ODST, because ODST being so completely different to all the big ones, or Reach because it's the last big game in the franchise from Bungie, and it's also because it's the start of the timeline in terms of the games. But I've never really talked to anyone about Halo properly, or at least never talked to anyone properly about Halo in relation to Halo 3, because I mentioned Halo 3 because Halo 3 for me has the best single mission in terms of set piecery in a game ever, and that level is the Covenant.
The Covenant? You have to remind me.
This is the 7th mission, the 6th or 7th mission in Halo 3. And you and the Arbiter are just basically making this final sort of ascent towards the higher truth. And then towards the end, this is spoilers, by the way, but then at this point, it's been 13 years since Halo 3 came out anyway, so what happens? Basically, the Flood is on your side. Because the Flood...
Oh, and you're going through the Halo ring, and you're running through the platforms.
Yes.
And the Flood... What, the Flood fight? The Flood are helping you. You are... Is it the Heretics?
Yes.
The Flood fighting the Heretics, and you're running. And then... do you explode the ring and then you have to get off of it and then you're all running away?
No, that's, I think, close to the end of the game. But like the higher, basically the oh fuck, I forgot the name of it now. Basically basically Keys gets murdered in that mission.
Oh, the Prophet Truth.
Yes, that's it. Prophet Truth. Yes.
Prophet Truth. Yes. Yeah.
What a mission. What a mission. Just set piece after set piece after set piece.
It was good. Oh, at the end of Halo 3 as well, when you have to escape the planet.
Yeah.
And you're on the platforms as well, that like you have to drive on specific platforms to go. I think there's a line at the end as well, like finish the fight.
No. I think it's wake me when you need me.
Oh, wake me when you need me. There's I need to give the Covenant back their bomb as well. There's a quote like that. I'm just really bad at remembering things. So
am I,
Yeah. Now I want to Google the quote. I do want to Google the quote. Yeah, I'm going there. I'm going there. Master Chief quote Halo 3. Yeah, to give the Covenant back their bomb.
Oh yeah,
It
that's
is.
right. That's right. I remember that now.
Yeah.
I remember that now.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, the Halo franchise is up there as well. Halo
Yeah,
Reach was really
yeah.
good. Beyond Good and Evil. Again, beautiful world. Protagonist. Oh my god, Jade. She's kick-ass. She knows how to fight. She's a photographer who likes to travel the planet. She works at an orphanage supporting her uncle who is a pig. Like, what more can I say? Like, she's my one of my all-time favorite. In fact, my all-time favorite game character, I think, Jade from Beyond Good and Evil. That entire world. Mama Goes, the soundtrack as well. The soundtrack, Mama Goes Garage. Mama Go Garage. Brilliant. Love it. That gets mentioned, for sure. Top notch.
You're not going to mention Tropical.
Tropico, yeah, Tropico's up there as well. I've sunk a lot of hours into Tropico. I am a big fan of just the narration system. And there's no like proper cutscenes or anything in the game as well, but the text-based story and adventure that you're taking on with every game as just like El Presidente is really good, and it's the same sidekick that you get with every game as well. And I've forgotten the name of him. It's a chap that begins with M, because I'm really bad with names. Very bad with names. So bad with names.
I feel like you're trying to throw that out to me as if I would know. I've not played these games.
To be fair, I've played all of these games and I can't remember the names. To be fair, games that I've played quite recently, I can't remember the names. I've been playing The Forest recently, and I can't even remember half of the weapons that I've been crafting over the last few days. When it comes to the names of things, my brain is a sieve.
It just melts into a puddle.
Yeah, basically. It's all those work in progress development names. You get so many of them that I'm like, okay, it's the thing. It's the thing. You know that thing that you get in level 3? Yeah, that one. Yeah.
You know what?
I've been destroyed by placeholder names in video games.
You know what? At this point, considering everything that's been happening as of recording this, I think we can just sort of put it down to pandemic brain at this point.
I've got a funky pandemic brain right now. I'm not gonna lie, Johnny.
I nearly spat out.
Johnny has spat his drink out.
I nearly spat it out. I just about held it in. Just about.
Pull yourself together, man. You're having a situation here. Oh, good grief.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay. Top 3 games ever. What would they be? Obviously, Fable at the top, but what would be 2?
Fable 1.
Okay, that's 1 first.
Beyond Good and Evil.
Oh.
And then, oh no, don't make me pick with the Halos. Oh, Halo Reach.
Oh.
Yep, Halo Reach.
Okay, now I'm sort of curious about this because for this is probably a bit too inside baseball, but basically, Holly, so this has actually been trying to happen for the past 2 years, trying to get her episode basically, and the choices that she gave me was either Fable or Halo 2. So I'm somewhat surprised by Halo Reach being in there and not Halo 2. I'm like, explain. Like, I'm definitely curious.
I've changed as a person, Johnny. I've changed. No, I think a part of it was playing the Master Chief Collection and remembering just how fucking annoying Halo 2 was on Legendary. But it was also great. But Halo Reach, like the story was like, obviously it wasn't as part of the trilogy. It described what happened as part of like the Covenant's initial like attack on planet Earth. And just all around as a story, I just thought it was like this lovely unit. Oh my god, why am I describing a video game as a unit? Damn. It was a really nice all-round package, and it introduced into the gameplay like additional modifiers that you could use during gameplay, which I thought really just enhanced gameplay and the online multiplayer as well. So Halo Reach is one of those games that I could keep going back to again and again. I can't actually remember as well if Halo Reach kept the firefight. I'm pretty sure Halo Reach did have a firefight mode.
It did.
Well.
It did.
I'm
just trying to remember if it was included. I'm just trying to remember if it was included with the MCC, but the Xbox 360 version definitely did. So if the Xbox 360 version had it, then I'm guessing firefights in the MCC version as well.
Yeah. There was a quirk with Halo Reach though. That Halo 3 ADST didn't have, I'm sure. Maybe because Firefight was introduced as Halo 3 ADST. That was the first game to have it, and I remember I played Firefight a load more than the original campaign because I'll be honest, I was part of the team of Halo players that wasn't as big a fan of ADST than other ones. I know, I'm being very controversial today.
Sacrilegious.
I'm just being controversial now.
You say controversial, I say blasphemous, sacrilegious.
I guess I couldn't get on board as much with the health system. But yeah, the firefight mode, I played a lot of that. I played a lot of it. I think there was a quirk where you couldn't play local multiplayer and online multiplayer at the same time. I can't remember which one of them you couldn't do that with. So I ended up playing the one that you could do it with. I think I ended up playing Halo ODST more because of that.
Fair enough. So, Fable, Beyond Good and Evil, and Halo Reach.
Yeah. I know, Johnny.
You can't see this.
I changed.
I'm somewhat jaw on the floor at this revelation.
I know. You thought I was someone, but I was not.
Just as you think they have the answers, I changed the questions.
Yeah.
Go all Roddy Piper on us.
So I am at Slinky Fishy on Twitter. So that's Slinky and then Fishy. Pretty simple. I have a studio as well called Bonsai Collective with the Twitter handle Bonsai Games. And you should also donate to mermaids.
That is a good call. I encourage everyone to donate to mermaids. And for those who don't know, I can't even talk anymore. Tongue-tied. Mermaids is a very prominent charity in the UK that helps provide support and advice for UK trans children, trans kids in the UK. I will leave a link in the post on playdiaries.com, and I will highly, highly encourage everyone to give what they can to mermaids. That's a good call. I'm definitely going to leave links in for that. Good call, Holly. Good call, Small Hall.
Yeah, that's my my selling myself, basically. Enjoy.
Thanks for listening to My Favorite Game, a podcast by Play Diaries where people in the games industry come on to talk of their favorite game. If you want to listen to future episodes of My Favorite Game or press play before they go live publicly, please consider subscribing to our $2 tier on Patreon at patreon.com/playdiaries. Next week, Alex Canaris on The Secret of Monkey Island. Until next week, bye bye.